would rise forever. But today, there is a downward trend that affects everyone. Researchers say we can reverse the trend by protecting more marine habitats. And the good news is that most Bahamians strongly support efforts to halt further decline. Tripling the size of our network of marine parks will mean more fish and conch for everyone now and for the future, as well as more recreational and ecotourism opportunities. Today, only 10% of our waters are protected. Surveys show that most Bahamians consider protection of our marine environment to be a top national priority. More protection means more benefits for everyone, now and in the future. It's a win-win-win strategy for the economy, for Bahamians, and for nature. Protect our sea, protect our way of life, protect the Bahamas. See the future. Visit Bahamas Protected on Facebook to learn more about marine protected areas.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.
Coming up in the news, Prime Minister Philip Davis tables the historic Parliamentary Service Bill. Plus, the Minister of National Security responds to calls for a remand center in Grand Bahama. And police officials investigating the second traffic fatality in Abaco in less than a week. The Bahamas Tonight. The Northern Edition starts now.
This is the Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition.
Good evening and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition. I'm Ramiko Knowles. Thank you so much for tuning in. Topping news tonight, the call for a parliamentary service bill is finally being answered. Prime Minister Philip Davis tabled the historic legislation today, signaling a new chapter in the story of Parliament. The proposed bill will establish a parliamentary service for the country aimed at providing a more efficient and effective system. The bill includes provisions for the creation of a commission, which will play a crucial role in ensuring a more independent and empowered Parliament.
The Parliamentary Services Bill represents perhaps the greatest reformatory measure introduced to the Parliament since independence.
Prime Minister Philip Davis addressing the significance of the Parliamentary Service Bill 2023. And with the move, the Bahamas embarks on a new era in its parliamentary history, seeking to provide a more transparent, accountable, and dynamic governance for its citizens.
Having an independent parliament strengthens our democracy and allows for the work of the people to be performed more efficiently, effectively, and transparently. These improvements are critical because the more independent and productive the Parliament becomes, the more efficiently the government's legislative agenda can be achieved.
The ultimate beneficiaries of the bill are Bahamians, and Prime Minister Davis include that the effects will transcend party lines and administrations.
Moving forward, every government administration and every opposition will benefit from our vision to enable the Parliament to make more, to have more agency in governing its affairs, making its own decisions, and ensuring that there are always enough resources on hand for the Parliament to effectively complete its work.
The nation's leader highlighting that the Bahamas is not alone in its efforts to strengthen parliamentary operations. However, recognizing the significance of continuous improvement, the government is actively engaging in additional measures to further enhance Parliament. As
you know, we are currently developing plans for the building of a new Parliament building to serve the needs of a modern legislature through the provision of essential infrastructure, resources, and technology.
Now, the newly established parliamentary service will now be managed by an independent parliamentary commission responsible for overseeing the funding and financial management of Parliament. In other news, attorneys on Grand Bahama recently voicing their concerns for the urgent need of a remand center in Grand Bahama. Tonight, the Minister of National Security, the Honorable Wayne Monroe, is providing clarity on the matter. Jolanda Thompson Everest reports.
Actual current issue that we are actually faced with today is the fact that we have quite a number of trials on the list to proceed with, and we are finding it difficult to actually proceed with them in a timely manner. And this is due to the fact that we have accused persons who are detained and remanded at the Fox Hill Prison, Ahmad. And what happens is they're not coming down when the trial dates are set. And that is creating a serious problem.
As attorneys advocate for a remand center, the Minister of National Security, the Honorable Wayne Monroe, says that the decision is not that easy. While noting that he hears the cries of the attorneys, he says the remand center on Grand Bahama will call for much logistics and detailed planning.
Difficulty that you will have with that is if it's a remand center for the Supreme Court, then the remand center would have to be a maximum security remand center with all of the costs that's entailed in that. To me, it's more a matter of logistics. So it's a matter of ensuring accused are moved. I wouldn't say months ahead, but sufficiently ahead of time, so that if there's an issue, it can be addressed.
While a remand center would be beneficial to the Royal Bahamas Police Force and the Royal Bahamas Defense Force, he proposes a more suitable plan.
As we augment the air wings of the Royal Bahamas Police Force, the Royal Bahamas Defense Force, which will add more assets to get people from point A to point B, that is something that is more cost effective than to seek to build a new maximum security facility in Grand Bahama.
In addition, the minister is also disclosing that the Chief Justice has decided to continue on with the task force and progress is now being made.
The Director of Public Prosecutions has recently sent to me a list of stakeholders who she feels should be included, and it's all about everyone cooperating. So long as the private bar now cooperates, the state does what it has to do, we should be able to get back to swift justice.
The minister is expressing when it comes to Supreme Court trials, they are for very serious offenses, which calls for a maximum security holding facility. He's concluding that this will include a high level of security, which is too expensive to replicate in Grand Bahama. For the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Jolanda Thompson Everest.
Thanks, Jolanda. Heading now into news from police. Officers at the Criminal Investigations Department here on Grand Bahama are busy searching for 37-year-old Stevie Dion Cooper, alias Cat, of number 16 Imperial Gardens. Police need to question him in connection with the possession of a firearm with the intent to endanger life. Cooper stands 5 feet 9 inches tall, weighs 150 pounds, dark brown complexion, and average build. If you spot him, please approach with extreme caution, as he is considered armed and dangerous. You're asked to dial police emergency at 911, the National Crime Prevention Office at 302-8430 or 1, Crime Stoppers at 352-1919, 350-3106 or 9, Family Islanders, please contact 300-8476. Switching gears now, the streets of Abaco claiming another life overnight. The latest, a 22-year-old young man and the second person to die in a traffic fatality in less than a week. Tonight, we speak with the police officials on these unfortunate turn of events that have rocked the Abaco community. A live Facebook feed by local pastor Silbert Mills captured the aftermath of a collision moments after it occurred on Forest Drive in Abaco. The video stream revealed a black Honda Civic with extensive damage to its front after colliding with a utility pole. Tragically, the lone driver, a 22-year-old male individual, was trapped inside the vehicle at the time of the incident and was extricated by emergency responders using the jaws of life. Assistant Superintendent of Police Stephen Roll telling ZNS News that officers were called to the scene shortly before 7 p.m.
And upon their arrival, they would have met a 2013 black Honda Civic vehicle with a lone male driver who was suffering from injuries to the body. Upon the initial investigation, it appears as the driver was traveling east on Forest Drive at a high rate of speed when he lost control of that vehicle and collided into a utility pole. He was taken to the Marshall Clinic via ambulance, where he was seen by a doctor and later succumbed to his injuries.
Now, on Saturday, July 22nd, 2023, an accident occurred which claimed the life of a 37-year-old male from Murphytown, Abaco. Both fatalities has prompted renewed calls for increased road safety awareness.
I want to say to the persons in Abaco, particularly the ones who are not from Abaco, are going for employment, and are not familiar with the streets of Abaco. If you're going to drive, please do so with due care and attention. Learn the streets of Abaco. In some spots, there are some dark areas that you may not be aware of. Like I said, drive to arrive alive. Drive for the other driver. Slow down. Do not drink and drive. Avoid using a cellular device while driving. And perhaps this will help to minimize the amount of accidents that occur on that island.
Officers on that island are also taking steps to prevent further tragedies on the island's roads.
I must say that the officer in charge of Abaco, Superintendent Will Hart, he has beefed up his patrols in Abaco to try to minimize the amount of accidents happening on the streets of Abaco.
Meantime, residents of the Western District have long advocated for emergency medical services, which includes an ambulance to be placed in that community. For some time now, in a recent interview with the Rand Memorial Hospital administrator, it was revealed that the public hospital authorities will have to conduct a review to determine if data supports an ambulance being stationed at the 8 Mile Rock Clinic. However, that revelation not sitting well with some residents of the largest settlement in the country, including Chief Counselor of West Grand Bahama District, Jimmy Smith.
The administrator owes us a bigger apology because you should have done your homework before you answer questions like that, indicating that you're doing something to find out if there is a need. That should have been something that was done already.
Smith noting that an ambulance has been stationed at the 8 Mile Rock Clinic before, and he doesn't see why it cannot return. He is also sharing a recent incident where a resident was in critical condition.
Example, on Sunday we had an incident in West End where the residents are now saying that the ambulance took more than an hour to get to West End. Imagine if that ambulance was in 8 Mile Rock or in West End, to be able to facilitate that particular person or that situation to get them to urgent help in a faster manner.
Now, Smith is calling for immediate attention to this matter. Well, following these concerns were swift action and immediate attention as a press release by the Public Hospitals Authority was issued today to address residents of the Western District to allay their fears on emergency services in Grand Bahama and in particular the Western community. Our Aja Kwant joins us live with the latest.
Ramiko, the Public Hospitals Authority addressing emergency services concerns on Grand Bahama through a new statement that reads in part, the PHA and the Grand Bahama Health Services are aware of accessible healthcare services for all Grand Bahamians, particularly those living in both the East and West End. We acknowledge that the distance and time it currently takes for an ambulance to reach those communities from Freeport are considerable and can have critical implications in emergencies. The release continues that the concerns raised by Chief Counselor Jimmy Smith are not only valid, but also represents just some of the issues coming out of our continued dialogue with residents in those communities. The PHA wishes to advise the public that the process to secure additional ambulances for both New Providence and Grand Bahama has commenced. However, due to the global demand and supply chain concerns, the timeline is extended. Once the ambulance arrives in the country, we will ensure the respective communities are equipped with the emergency vehicles required. The statement continued that as we continue the work of raising the standard of care, our efforts will include the necessary assessments required to confirm the specific needs of the communities. We serve and allocate the appropriate resources to address those needs. We wish to ensure the Chief Counselor and the wider public that his concerns are not falling on deaf ears. Already, PHA and GBHS have begun the work of upgrading the island's healthcare infrastructure, coupled with ongoing training initiatives made available through the PHA Academy. These developments represent what we believe are steps forward in enhancing the provision of health care. We believe that investing in the skills and expertise of our residents will help bridge the gap and ensure better access to quality health care services. Once again, the PHA and GBHS reaffirms their commitment to fostering accessible, compassionate, and responsive health care for all residents across the island. We stand united with officials of local government and any other stakeholder and partners in its pursuit of equitable health care access for all in Grand Bahama and surrounding keys. Certainly a quick response to an age-old issue, Ramiko. Live here in studio for the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition, I'm Ajra Quant. Back to you at the desk.
And when we come back, hear how Urban Renewal Seahorse added a new marine biology program to their annual summer camps. That story and a whole lot more, including the latest in sports from the Bahamas Tonight, the Northern Edition returns.
You asked for it, you've got it. A new plant nursery, fully loaded with everything you need. And extended hours, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. and Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Hurricane season is here. Residents are asked to visit the Pine Ridge landfill to dispose of vegetative and household debris free of charge. Deliver your debris to the landfill weekdays between the hours of 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. or on Saturdays, 8 a.m. to 12 noon. Under the patronage of Their Excellencies, the Most Honorable Sir Cornelius Smith, ON, GCMG, and Lady Clara Smith, the Grand Bahama Independence Committee continues to celebrate the country's 50th anniversary of independence with Lift Every Voice and Sing concert, Sunday, July 30th, beginning at 5 p.m. at Jubilee Cathedral. Admission is free.
Get ready for the Buddy Hield Back to School giveaway happening this Sunday, July 30th at Fritz Forbes Pinedale Community Park from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Brought to you by the Buddy Hield Foundation.
This is where it happens. Those moments that impact our lives. Giving you the information that you need this hurricane season. Wherever there is news, we're there.
Here are some tips for having your home ready for a hurricane. Keep all trees and shrubs trimmed. Bring in all outdoor furniture, plants, or any other items that may become airborne due to high winds. Cover windows and doors with hurricane shutters or pre-cut plywood. Clear drains and gutters. And remember to secure important documentation in case you have to evacuate. Don't be caught off guard this hurricane season. Be prepared.
It's the afternoon beat. 8:10 a.m. Afternoon Beat with Zion. Join me Monday to Friday from 1:30 p.m. to 4 p.m. on 8:10 a.m. It's the Afternoon Beat with Zion.
That's what I told her. Bring the winding thing here. This is Rick and Script, so show me emotion. Hey, wind and go down low.
The King of the North is back. Power 104.5 FM.
Your number one news team covering the North. The Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Welcome back. Urban Renewal hosted a two-day tropical marine biology program that gave students another avenue to broaden their horizon this summer. Intern Wes Calix reports.
These 12 students weren't only given an opportunity to enjoy our beautiful waters during their summer camp experience, but also learned about the marine life. Sonia Roll, program coordinator for the Urban Renewal, shares that after she learned that there were no marine biology program in most schools, that prompted her to incorporate the program in Urban Renewal summer camps.
With this particular program, they are introduced to marine biology and the ecology of reef, so that if this is something they find intriguing enough for them, that they can see firsthand in a professional setting, they can see the physiology of the fish.
During the two-day camp, the students had an opportunity to work with an environmental biologist. Tansy Lewis on the purpose and benefits of the program, not only for the students, but also for the marine life of Grand Bahama.
It really created a memory for them, something for them to really look back on and to kind of launch a new experience for them, because we have students in here who are interested in becoming marine biologists, and it's a good seed. I think the importance of it is that it planted a seed for something that we don't know what it'll eventually become, because what happens in the ocean does have an effect on us here on land, and vice versa. What we do here on land has an effect on what's going on in the ocean. So, for example, we like to eat fish, we like to eat conch and lobster, but the activities that we do here do have an impact on it. So we need to study what's happening, and we need to study when we do something, what is the effect of it. For example, if we do dredging, if we dredge out a harbor, we need to determine, are there reefs nearby? What's the health of the reef? Marine biologists would be able to help with something like that.
Coordinator of all urban renewal for the Northern Bahamas, Darren Stirrup Sr., shares that the goal is to eventually add this program to all centers after seeing the success from the first one. The students, who all have an interest in marine biology, shares their experience and some valuable information that they'll always remember thanks to the Urban Renewal Marine Biology Camp.
One thing I will never forget is the smell of that fish. It was fun, but kind of gross, but all the same, I loved it.
The highlight was definitely today when I experienced dissecting the fish. It really gave me a feel of what would happen if I went into that career path, and what would happen if I decided to learn more about that. And I think it was a great learning experience, and I'm thankful.
I learned a lot about the types of fish that live in our waters. I learned how coral and mangroves are beneficial to our island and how they help us to sustain a stable economy.
The highlight of the camp for me so far was snorkeling. I enjoyed going in the water and touching all the fish and touching all of the animals and seeing all of the life underwater.
For the Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition, I'm intern Wes Calix.
Your Wednesday check on sports is up next with Jay Philippe.
I'm Jay Philippe, and welcome to Sports. I have a whole lot of sports for you today. Let's begin with the Bodybuilding Nationals. Over 50 competitors in the various categories competed at the Bahamas Bodybuilding Wellness and Fitness Federation National Championships this past weekend. In the ladies division, Sanadia Smith captured first place in women's physique.
The other two times I would have competed, I would have done women's wellness and figure. But this time with physique, I felt like I can express myself more in this category, and I feel like this is the category for me.
Newcomer Danica Thompson was first in the Wellness B class and also captured second overall at the Nationals.
The overall experience, it was a good experience. I was glad to be back in Nassau again. I came back, in my opinion, better than I did last year. I was always an athlete through high school, so working out for me is nothing new. And as I got older, I just wanted to stay in shape and keep fit. And when I came back to Freeport from Abaco, I started my fitness journey at Nesbitt Fitness.
Over in the men's side, veteran Ark Nesbitt won the heavyweight and masters division and placed second in the open division.
It was a very, very good show. It was a big show. It's a full house. It's the first time we had the pros on the stage, the same time as we had the amateurs on the stage. So it was a very good quality show. Really enjoy it.
Also, Andrew Sweeting placed first in the masters and overall open bodybuilding division.
Overall experience was actually my 23rd year at the Nationals. But then, 23rd year. But still, it was a good experience also to see others and new athletes coming up. But I was a little disappointed that we didn't have enough Grand Bahama athletes because, of the bad taste they had over the past years. So they didn't want to compete. But hopefully, me and Oric and the rest of the crew get these crew together and give them some more spice so they can get back in the game.
Kevin Johnson also competed in the men's novice physique A class and won first place in his first ever competition. Switching gears now in sports, Jonquel Jones was named Eastern Conference Player of the Week. Last week, Jones put on a show averaging 18.7 points per game, 10 rebounds, and 1.7 blocks per game, while converting on a combined 63.6% from the field and 100% from the free throw line. And finally in sports, the Bahamas Junior National Tennis Team is currently playing at the Billie Jean Cup in the Dominican Republic. Grand Bahamians Danielle Saunders and Caitlin Pratt was named to the girls' team. The girls' team lost to the home team, the Dominican Republic, in their opening match, but Pratt came back and won her latest match today, which will place them in the finals. And that's a quick check on sports, ladies and gents. I'm Jay Philippe. Be blessed.
We all need to save. Save time, gas, and money. Shopping at Save More can help you do just that. Make us your first stop for all your prescription needs and medical supplies. Get all your health and beauty items at the same time. And don't miss our huge choice of snacks to satisfy your cravings. And the largest vitamin selection and over-the-counter relief products. Need diapers and other baby care items? First stop. The new section for makeovers, cosmetics, and beautiful jewelry will make you sparkle for that next special event. Save More Drugs, your more store.
Chances we're the one you can trust. Oh yeah, better than the rest. We already passed the test. Cause chances we're the one you can trust. We make sure when you win, we pay you right away. No pre-stop money and no need to come back another day. You're sure when you win, you get all your money one time. That's how we do it. You leave with every dime. Cause chances is the one you can trust.
Chances reminds you to game responsibly.
Get ready for the Buddy Hield Back to School giveaway happening this Sunday, July 30th at Fritz Forbes Pinedale Community Park from 3 p.m. to 6 p.m. Brought to you by the Buddy Hield Foundation.
If you're a bystander and you witness a vehicle accident involving a passenger, a power pole, and a downed power line, do not approach the accident scene. Stay in your car and call 919 for emergency medical assistance. Then call GB Power at 352-8411 so that they can disconnect the electricity from the accident site. Though persons may want to help, it's important to keep everyone away from the electrical equipment or from fallen wires. Rescue can only be attempted by a person trained to use special live line tools. If possible, talk to the passengers in the vehicle by yelling out. Encourage the passengers to avoid touching the car frame and not to move until help arrives. This message was brought to you by the Grand Bahama Power Company, reminding you that if it's down, it's dangerous.
Here are some tips for having your home ready for a hurricane. Keep all trees and shrubs trimmed. Bring in all outdoor furniture, plants, or any other items that may become airborne due to high winds. Cover windows and doors with hurricane shutters or pre-cut plywood. Clear drains and gutters. And remember to secure important documentation in case you have to evacuate. Don't be caught off guard this hurricane season. Be prepared.
So put me together, break me apart again. No doubt about
The King of the North is back. Power 104.5 FM.
Your #1 news team covering the North. Bahamas Tonight, Northern Edition.
Orchid Saint, you are our Facebook friend of the day. We hope you enjoyed your special day, and we say thanks for watching. And that's going to do it for us here in the North. On behalf of the entire ZNS News team, I'm Ramiko Knowles. The Bahamas Tonight continues.
Ride, a tough journey, but what gave me strength from day to day was knowing that God was on my side. And I want to thank all of you who have embarked on this journey with me.
In his eyes, he sees unbroken. In his eyes, I'm not beyond repair. In his eyes, he sees beyond my pain. He sees the flower. He sees his child. In his eyes, he sees someone to rescue. In his eyes, I'm someone to save. In his eyes, he sees my trying. He sees a flower. He sees his child. In his eyes, he sees the old rugged cross. In his eyes.
Coming up in the Bahamas tonight, the National Report, PM's Trust Concerns. Strengthening democracy. Albany developer charged. And in sports, baseball fight fallout. The Bahamas tonight, the National Report starts now.
ZNS News is brought to you by the new BTC. Fiber is here. Faster, stronger, more reliable. Together, we are unstoppable. Switch today.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Akush Lopinder, and this is the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. Thanks for tuning in. There was every expectation there would be an official response in the House of Assembly to festering immigration issues, but things did not go as planned. Our Jiminita Swain is joining us live in studio with the details. Good evening, Jiminita.
Good evening, Makushla. As expected, the Labor and Immigration Minister, the Honorable Keith Bell, last week assured he would thoroughly answer all of the opposition leaders' questions on immigration today in the House of Assembly to put these matters to rest once and for all. Those questions were answered in a statement from the Ministry of Labor and Immigration and not the minister. That was released Wednesday morning. Now, the release, 2 full pages, spoke mainly to the controversial immigration case involving a group of Chinese nationals working at the British Colonial Hotel, reiterating a statement the Immigration and Minister Labor shared with reporters at Cabinet. The statement noted that the workers were in the country legally and their employers in the process of applying for their work permits. It added that to avoid disruption to the major ongoing construction project they were working on, it was considered futile to detain them overnight and that the issue was promptly corrected the following day. As for the other immigration matter issues recently raised by the opposition leader, the release confirms that each immigration case is handled on a case-by-case basis, taking into consideration the specific circumstances and information available at the time. While the statement noted the results of each case raised, it also addressed the work permit approval process, noting that each financial information is not required by employers to complete this process. Officials note that it is highly unlikely for work permit applications to be approved without interviews conducted or unsupported by proper documentation. Now, concerning the 30 questions put by the former Prime Minister regarding another immigration gaffe, namely a specific citizenship application, the immigration release zoomed in on one aspect in particular. Killarney MP, the Most Honourable Dr. Hubert Minnis, queried how could the minister receive a call from a deceased man while in Switzerland. Now, the release, however, clarified that the minister was in fact in Miami, Florida at the time in question and not in Switzerland as previously stated in error. The Ministry of Labour and Immigration's release concluded that officials remain committed to transparency, due process, and the rule of law in all immigration matters. Now, subsequently, another release was issued. In this one, the Prime Minister again stressed that the public trust in the enforcement of the country's immigration laws is not just important to him, but essential. He went on to assure that his government will undertake a comprehensive review of the checks and balances regarding how immigration decisions are made with a view to strengthening them. Now, taking a stab at the opposition, he charged that the party's immigration questions were based on wrong and inaccurate information, adding that when civil servants share the names and personal details of individuals from files in the custody of their department, they are in violation of the law and breach the public's trust. Now, private information shared with the government, he said, should be in confidence and not shouted at press conferences or thrown around to score political points. Now, Prime Minister Davis maintains that every Bahamian deserves to have confidence that the rules promote efficiency, fairness, and accountability to the greatest extent possible. Reporting in studio for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Jimenita Swain. Back to you, Makushla.
Well, thanks, Jimenita. Tonight, we're also hearing from Strategic Property Holding, the owner of the British Colonial Hotel. In a statement, SPH expresses grave concerns regarding what it deems recent unfounded accusations made about the immigration status of its workers at the downtown property, in the process denouncing the, quote, slanderous allegations. The statement adds that we unequivocally affirm that all our workers at the hotel operate under a heads of agreement for the property's renovation, and we are in compliance with all applicable Bahamian law. The SPH goes on to stress that once reopened, the British Colonial Hotel will create another 300 permanent jobs in the Bahamas, doing business legally and transparently. Well, representatives from a cross-section of government agencies, meantime, here in New Providence, participating in a second series of essential migration management training seminars at Balmoral Club. Officials say the three-day seminar comes at a time when illegal border crossings continue to be not only a problem regionally, but internationally. According to IOM statistics, there are 281 million international migrants, accounting for 3.6% of the population, either fleeing economic, political, or social turmoil in their respective countries. Now, for the Bahamas, Haitian migrants continue to lead the nationalities of illegals coming here. Officially opening the workshop this morning, Labor and Immigration Minister, the Honourable Keith Bell, reiterated that the government continues to spend millions of dollars in repatriation exercises annually.
I will not stand here and sugarcoat the fact that the Bahamas has an irregular migration problem. For the year 2023 to date, we have repatriated some 2,900 irregular migrants hailing from all over the globe. That number is already more than half of the last year's total number repatriated of 4,949 persons. I therefore seek your suggestions as you discuss the issues on how we, the people, and the government of the Bahamas should manage this problem.
While the training is being facilitated by Deputy Sub-Regional Coordinator for the Caribbean and head of the International Office of Migration in Guyana, the United States Embassy is its primary sponsor. Chargé d'Affaires of the U.S. Embassy, Yusha Pitt, says for her, migration is a complex and difficult issue, as she reminds of the human element.
it's very tough. It's probably the hardest part of my job, simply because of the lives that are lost at sea. But it was a year ago that those women drowned in the hull of a ship off the coast of New Providence, and it was one of the worst days of my career. But like I said, death is part of migration, and so we are constantly dealing with it. And I'm sure that I, like you, like Bahamians, just count myself very, very lucky that I was born in a country where I don't have to worry about the safety of my children. I know that I will have economic opportunity. I know that if a crisis comes, there will be an official support network and infrastructure to protect me. There are many, many people around the world that don't have that, and that drives them to migrate.
Well, turning our attention now to news from Parliament. House members today opened a debate on the Parliamentary Services Bill, proposed legislation to facilitate the development of an autonomous and empowered Parliament. Carla Palmer reports.
Prime Minister the Honourable Philip Davis led off debate on the Parliamentary Services Bill, calling it groundbreaking and historic. Supporting the need for an independent Parliament, not only in words but deed, Mr. Davis says it will facilitate greater transparency, accountability, efficiency and effectiveness in governance, ultimately strengthening our democracy.
These improvements are critical because the more independent and productive the Parliament becomes, the more efficiently the government's legislative agenda can be achieved. The ultimate beneficiaries of these improvements will be the Bahamian people, the ones to whom we are accountable for all that we do and the laws that we pass.
The Prime Minister noted the newly formed Parliamentary Service Bill will be managed by an independent parliamentary commission that will oversee the funding and financial management of Parliament, take care of all recruitment and staffing needs, as well as establishing other key objectives, including the promotion of education, technology and citizen participation in the democratic process.
Under this bill, there's very specific criteria indicating that the officers and staff of the Parliamentary Service will be independent, apolitical, and non-partisan, and that every member of the Senate and the House of Assembly shall respect and honor the apolitical nature of the Parliamentary Service and not seek to influence the employees of the service in the discharge of their duties. It is critical that we preserve the independence of Parliament. And this bill speaks to the obligation of all parties involved to work in accordance with that objective and not to seek to undermine what we are setting out to achieve.
Also included is a parliamentary reporting division consisting of the Parliamentary Channel and the Hansard, where every debate in the House will be recorded verbatim. He says the Parliamentary Service and Commission will be funded by Parliament and sources of independent funding. The anticipated fair and balanced commission, comprising of the House Speaker, Senate President, Deputy House Speaker, 6 members appointed by the government, 4 by the opposition, and the clerk serving as secretary to the commission, must meet once quarterly, where all decisions are made by majority vote. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Carla Palmer.
Now backing the bill, Pinewood MP, the Honourable Miles LaRota, who deemed it the first genuine attempt to establish the democratic ideal of the separation of powers between the 3 branches of government.
The passage of this bill into law is a necessary step to further the encroachment of one entity into the other, meaning the executive branch into the legislative. There's a perception that the Cabinet Office has been exercising too much power over Parliament for far too long, as there have been administrative challenges. And because men have never demonstrated the ability to handle unrestrained power, this bill is seeking to put restraint on the 3 branches of power.
Leader of government business in the House, West Grand Bahama and Bimini MP, the Honorable Obadiah Wiltshire, meantime touted the Parliamentary Services Bill as a protector of Parliament and its members. While he fully endorses a parliamentary staff pension scheme and the construction of a new Parliament building, he reasons that revitalizing the House's long-standing committees is also crucial.
I believe that all these committees and all members who serve on these committees, as done in other territories, ought to be given a stipend, Mr. Deputy, for convening meetings and for attendance of meetings, because these are important. We are discussing today the Hansard. But we do have a broadcast committee, and the Parliamentary Service will be responsible for the broadcast and the parliamentary procedures.
Well, the Ministry of the Public Service advising that significant progress has been made to complete promotions and address other outstanding matters for employees at the Department of Social Services. Some 136 promotions and miscellaneous matters have been processed and completed, with 37 outstanding. The pending matters include 5 reclassifications and redesignations, 3 scale upgrades, 15 promotions at various levels, and 14 promotions to assistant director. Matters that are pending include updated financial costing details and performance appraisals related to the recommendations for promotions. These matters represent all forwarded matters and recommendations for promotions submitted to the Ministry of Public Service at this time. Minister of State for the Public Service, the Honorable Pio Glover-Roll, acknowledged a demonstration by a small group of social services employees about promotions outside Parliament this morning. We understand, she said, it was led by the Bahamas Public Services Union. She didn't mince words about the multiple lines of communication from the Ministry of Public Service that's available to any trade leader.
I have consistently, personally provided a direct WhatsApp hotline that I respond to, 476-8350, for public servants to access me through this line, to personally assist them. And I have helped hundreds of public servants through this hotline. So the idea that there's no communication, there's no movement, nothing is happening when it comes to public service matters is erroneous and disingenuous.
Over in the upper chamber, the Notaries Public Amendment Act has been passed. The new legislation rectifies the deficiencies in the framework of notaries public. They're individuals who are permitted by law to attest legal documents like marriages, divorces, births, deaths, and police records. According to Attorney General and Minister of Legal Affairs, Senator the Honorable Ryan Pinder, private and public attorneys can now look forward to an updated grace period between the expiration and submission of a new notary public license.
Every January, I would get emails from lawyers generally saying, "Where's my notary license? I have documents stacked up. I can't notarize these because you haven't issued my license. I have paid for the renewal. I have submitted it. And because of the bureaucratic process of government, it wasn't instantly issued. So there's a gap period." This looks to rectify that issue in providing the grace period so we don't have this situation where effectively the provision of notarial services to clients and the commercial practice comes to a halt.
A call for mortuary industry regulations. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. There's more news in a moment.
A lot has changed over the past 60 years, but at Commonwealth Bank, our mission to build lifelong relationships with our clients remains the same. Our customers are more than just a number. Our customers are our family, and together we create banking solutions that fit your unique needs. Commonwealth Bank, leader in personal banking services.
I always find new ways to connect. Even with those friends that are very, very far away. It doesn't matter who you are What matters is sharing. Because sharing a bucket with friends tastes finger-licking good.
Brought to you by Sun Oil Limited Shell, fueling journeys that matter.
It's Sustainability Week for guests and staff at the Bahama Resort, where over the next 3 days, the high-end property will highlight a number of initiatives aimed at transforming how communities and citizens can rethink their approach to preserving the environment. Standing by live from the resort with the details on this green initiative is our Lloyd Allen. Lloyd?
Because right now we're here at the Bahama Resort where the second annual Sustainability Conference is on the way. And giving some more details behind this is the resort's foundation manager, Ms. Melvern Williamson. Ms. Williamson, of course, I know your organization focuses on 3 pillars.
Yes, the Bahama Resort Foundation is built on 3 pillars of community, culture, and conservation and reflects Bahama's commitment to building a strong future for the Bahamas.
Also standing here with us is Mr. O'Neill Leedon. He's the conservation manager, talking about the next 3 days, which starts today with a upcycling initiative.
Yeah, so today we started with our upcycling initiative, and this initiative is focused on giving life to previously used products, and so we'll be using ceramics, glass, as well as recycled fabric, just to create keepsakes for our guests and associates. Tomorrow is a very exciting day for us. We have our sustainability and conservation panel, and that panel will be focused on the intersection of sustainable tourism, as well as how that is impacting the tourism industry at large. And then finally, we wrap it up with a conservation fest where we celebrate all things Bahamian, all things conservation, and that takes us right back here to the Rotunda space where we celebrate with our associates and guests.
An exciting next 3 days. And finally, also with us today is Mr. Taran Sims here at the resort. He is the Assistant Director for Conservation and Sustainability. A big job there. Tell us what you focus on here.
So here at Bahama with sustainability, we focus on people, place, and planet. We ensure that we create decent work and economy for our Bahamian society. Additionally, we look at how do we integrate the Bahamian culture into the Bahama product, and finally, conserving the natural environment, which is the underpinning factor of why visitors come here. So we do a number of different things. We are preferred by nature certified. We're collecting our emissions data so we can mitigate and also offset our carbon emissions from our hotel. So as you can see, sustainability is business as usual rather than just an initiative.
Some great information there, of course. And again, today they're focusing a lot on reusing a lot of those materials like bottles and also shells to really show their use beyond a one-time purpose. In addition to that, their staff here are also being trained on a regular basis to better prepare themselves with engagement for visitors from the international community. Reporting from the second annual Sustainability Conference at the Bahama Resort, for the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Lloyd Allen. Makushla.
Well, thanks, Lloyd. And still on Cable Beach, a portion of the Malaya Nassau Beach Resort demolished earlier today. The property has been closed since March 21st, 2021. Officials note then that the resort would close for 2 years to undergo a $100 million renovation with a reopening date of spring 2023. Now, we will continue to follow this story for you. Well, after a failed burial attempt, Kenneth Algreen is finally at rest. But what has become a part of a growing problem facing this industry has one professional with decades of experience calling for mechanisms that would not only protect clients, but advance his industry. Cleopatra Murphy has the story.
President of the Bahamas Funeral Directors Association, Kirsch Ferguson, is calling for regulation of funeral and auxiliary services in light of the latest incident where the plot a family paid for was not the one it received, and that realization more than a little too late for the Al Greens.
Unfortunately, we have no legislation governing funeral service, and that's what we're now lobbying for, to ensure that these things are put in place, and with consultation with the stakeholders such as the association and the government and auxiliary operators are able to do that to ensure that the public is protected at all costs.
In the case of the Al Greens, a plot for the deceased Kenneth Al Green was purchased from the 1980s, but when the family arrived for his burial, another plot had been prepared. Ferguson claims cemeteries often abuse record-keeping due to large volumes, adding that it could also be greed, disclosing there has been an increase in cases reported by patrons of funeral services and local cemeteries, mainly private ones, in recent years. But he believes after nearly 8 years of lobbying, progress is being made.
As of recently, we've been approached by the independent body of practitioners who oversee medical facilities and the like, who have been very progressive in ensuring that our legislation is part and parcel of what's going to be reintroduced to the government once again.
While grieving families can't be blamed for what happens after they have purchased a plot, there are steps members of the public can take to avoid finding themselves in similar situations like the Al Greens and others have found themselves in.
In the first instance, receiving proper documentation from the cemetery provider. Secondly, visiting the gravesite and updating your records as often as possible. You have a right to be on cemetery property based on operating hours, and at the same time to visit those graves as frequently as possible. And then too, for the family to keep a record as to where the location of the grave is in their own memory, so that when the need arises, whenever 15, 30 years from now, they can pinpoint exactly where that gravesite is.
Should a member of the public find themselves in a situation where the plot they paid for is not the one they are assigned, Ferguson shares this advice.
Demand your rights and seek legal counsel to have it remedied properly and fully. The emotional strain and distress that families suffer because of these missteps is something that cannot be gauged or compensated for momentarily, but at the same time, some recourse has to be taken.
For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Cleopatra Murphy.
Shifting our attention now to other news, British billionaire Joe Lewis, who spearheaded the development of Albany, the luxury community in western New Providence, charged in a U.S. court Tuesday in connection with an insider trading scheme. Lewis, a permanent resident of the Bahamas, is facing 16 counts of securities fraud and 3 counts of conspiracy for crimes that allegedly spanned from 2013 to 2021. A U.S. lawyer alleges Lewis used inside information as a way to compensate his employees or shower gifts on his friends and lovers. However, his lawyers contend the U.S. government has made an egregious error in judgment. On the local crime scene, 2 alleged sexual assaults here in the capital, both on Tuesday and at the same time. The victim in the first incident, a 30-year-old woman who, according to police, was driving west on Marshall Road just after 9 p.m. when she slowed down near the Faith Avenue intersection. 2 men, one armed, walked up to her vehicle and forced her out. It's that same man who allegedly took her to nearby bushes and sexually assaulted her, escaping in an unknown direction. A 32-year-old woman suffered the same fate when she accepted a ride from a man she knew while walking in the area of Fleming Street around the same time as the first matter. It's reported that the suspect drove the woman to a dirt road off Gladstone Road where he pulled out a gun and sexually assaulted her. Investigations continue into both matters. On a lighter note, the countdown is on for the return of the Goombay Summer Festival here in New Providence, and that takes place this Friday, July 28th. However, to prepare for the event on Bay Street, there will be some road closures that head to tourism's downtown revitalization unit. Senator Randy Roll says will begin at 6 p.m. on Friday.
The road will not close at 9 p.m., but they will start setting up at 9 p.m. And so where people park now, there will be barricades. And so there will still be 2 lanes that you can go by. Now at 10 a.m. on Friday morning, that's when the Rawson Square, Parliament Street to Bank Lane will be closed. And so you will have to turn off. But we wanted people to, again, like I said, know beforehand, and so that if you're coming that area, you're able to make adjustments so that it doesn't make you late for anything or something like that.
Well, as we head to the break, we'd like to thank all our viewers watching us live on our social media platforms. And just in case you missed the news, be sure to head there to catch up. Stay with us. There's more after the break.
Summer Festival in Grand Bahama is just phenomenal. This festival means a whole lot for Grand Bahama. It spurs a lot of economic activity. And this year, for the 50th, as we celebrate our 50th anniversary, we've selected 50 vendors. And so you're able to see many of their offerings, and they're all unique, they're all diverse, many of the different food options, all with a different twist. So it's nothing that's the same. What I love also is the authentically Bahamian products that's also being sold, all handmade. So you can come, enjoy, get food, get drink, enjoy the entertainment, purchase some of the items from the local artisans. It's just a wonderful time, and it's certainly a boost for the economy of Grand Bahama. We've invited our tourists down. We've bussed them from the various properties across Grand Bahama. As you can see, many of our natives are out. We have an all-time down-home Bahamian celebration here in Grand Bahama. Gombe in Grand Bahama is one of the longest-running Gombe celebrations across the country.
Dreaming of the perfect summer getaway? Apply for a debt consolidation or personal loan to win an airline ticket to Paris, Miami, or New York. Win up to $2,500 in cash and more. For details, call 356-7764 for Nassau, 602-6811 for Freeport, 823-4374 for Abaco. Fidelity.
Agape Church invites you to attend an evening of elegance at the retirement banquet for Bishop Helen McPhee as senior pastor of Agape Church. As Bishop McPhee's tenure comes to a close, we want to celebrate her indomitable spirit and legacy of love. The atmosphere will be charged with the electricity of love and appreciation as we indulge in sumptuous culinary delights, captivating entertainment, and engaging conversations. Mark your calendars. Secure your reservations. Friday, the 25th of August, 2023. Cocktail reception begins at 7 p.m. and the dinner starts at 8 p.m. at the Atlantis Grand Ballroom on Paradise Island. Tickets are $275 and can be purchased at the church's office. For more information, call 242-328-6937.
Join up for life insurance. Secure the ones that you love. Join up with Family Guardian. We offer full protection. Join the family. Join the family. Family Guardian. Protect the ones you love. A friend that you can trust. Family Guardian.
Serving you low prices? That's the specials at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets. Devon corned beef, 12 ounce, 2 for $5.38. So cheesy macaroni and cheese, 7 1/4 ounce, 99 cents. Source mayonnaise, 30 ounce, $5.99. Green peppers, $1.89 per pound. Whole chickens, $1.99 per pound. Donate your change to help feed the Humane Society animals at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
With record-breaking temperatures this summer, medical experts have warned residents to protect themselves from a heat stroke. But we're not the only ones who need protection. Our summer intern, Deanna Whitfield, tells us more.
Over the past few weeks, temperatures have been unbearable, not only for us, but also for our four-legged friends. Today, we visited the Humane Society to get some tips for pet owners.
Animals can suffer quickly from heat stroke, and so it is important that people animals have access to water, particularly tired animals. They have to have access to water and, of course, shade. And this is a violation that we see that it happens so often, and people need to please think during this time, especially the whole summer months is coming. We got August coming up, and we know we're going to have a lot of issues with heat, and people need to be cognizant that they need to have shelter and need to have water for their animals.
And how would you know if your dog is suffering from a heat stroke?
Obviously panting. I mean, and if they have a dog that is turned up panting and breathing very hard, they need to immediately douse in water or put a hose on their dog, and to ease down the temperature. Just put it in a bathtub, put it in a tub, put it anywhere where water is going on it constantly to bring down that temperature. Okay, because they can die quickly.
As those summer temperatures continue to soar, please remember to protect your four-legged friends by giving them lots of water, lots of shade, shelter, and love. I'm here at the Humane Society with my friend Clara. For the Bahamas Tonight, I'm Deania Whitfield.
Oh, great job, Deania. House members this morning observed a moment of silence to honor the memory of archivist, author, and athlete, the Right Honorable Dr. Gail Saunders, and retired Commissioner of Police, Paul Farquharson. Speaking to the former Angleston MP, the Honorable Glenys Hannah Martin lauded Dr. Saunders as a patriot of the First Order, who dedicated her entire life to the service and development of country.
Dr. Gail Saunders was a gifted and distinguished Bahamian woman, a proud daughter of our Bahamas soil. She had an intense love for her country and was prepared to, and in fact did, dedicate her entire life to the service and advancement of the Bahamian people. She was a talented athlete and amongst the first women in our history to compete internationally. She threw her entire life's energies into the development of the Bahamas, a country she loved with all of her heart.
Wayne Monroe honoring the legacy of retired Police Commissioner Paul Farquharson, describing him as a true officer dedicated to nation building.
I found him to be no nonsense, measured and fair. He was always willing to set out the reasons for his decisions, especially when they were adverse to an officer. I next worked with him, Mr. Deputy, when he served along with Archbishop Drexel Gomez as co-chair of the Parole and Reentry Committee appointed by the Christie Davis administration in 2015, and which delivered its report in 2016 to the late Minister, the Honorable B.J. Nottage. I personally witnessed his commitment and passion to the philosophy that persons can earn a second chance.
Meantime, Police Commissioner Clayton Fernanda fondly remembers Paul Farquharson as a visionary leader who left an indelible mark on the Royal Bahamas Police Force and, by extension, the nation.
A quiet but firm leader, a visionary. He implemented community policing programs that won numerous international awards. He transformed the organization into an intelligence-led policing department which bridged the gap between the police and the community.
When we started Stormframe Windows in 1999, we wanted to fabricate an impact-rated product to compete with the Florida market, and we've done this. There's no fabricator or vendor from Florida that can do what we can in the Bahamas. Because we fabricate locally and we're a local-based company, we have the capability to provide better customer service than our competitors. With all the worldwide supply chain issues, we at Stormframe have improved our fabrication process and have invested in stock to be able to produce our orders in 4 weeks. We also keep in stock over 400 windows and doors at standard sizes for walk-in customers to purchase. Our professional sales staff is here to assist you with the complete purchase and installation. We also service and ship to the out outlets.
Thank you for your support, Bahamas.
Thank you for your support, Bahamas.
With the help of our authorized financial institutions, or AFIs, using sand dollars is as easy as 1, 2, 3.
Step 1. Identify your preferred AFI by browsing their websites or contacting them directly. Step 2. Download the free mobile application from Google Play or the Apple Store and then register for a sand dollar account. Step 3. Load money onto your mobile app and begin sending and receiving sand dollars or purchasing and selling goods and services.
We are pleased to be
your central bank approved
digital wallet providers.
It does not matter which of us you choose.
You can pay for goods and services
wherever sand dollar is accepted.
We are all in this together.
Visit sanddollar.bs for more information.
It's showtime. Yeah. Tell them the name they say is running the game.
It's time to attend the Michael Scootery Peace on the Streets Basketball Classic game. Nightly at the Hope Center, Monday, July 24th to Friday, July 28th. Then join us for our family night on Sunday, July 30th, 5 p.m. until at the Kendall Isaacs Gymnasium. Featuring all our championship games. King and his gang. The Mr. Shipman 3-point shootout. The IHOP Slam Dunk Contest. And the game between the clergy versus the politicians.
It's gonna be epic.
Taking the game's mine. Sponsored by Radio House Outreach. This event is powered by the Bryce Newbold Foundation. Peace on the Streets 2023.
Vibrant heart of the Bahamas, a common loftier goal unites us all. A place where love and unity thrive, where world-class technology is accessible and affordable, connecting every generation. We believe in our heritage and the boundless potential that lies within us. We believe in Bahamians.
Introducing the Focal Smart Pass app that helps you to fuel up faster. Here's how it works. Download the app on the App Store or get it on Google Play and create your profile with payment details. Visit your nearest Shell station. Open the app, scan the pump's QR code, select your payment amount, and begin fueling. Say goodbye to cash and cards because the Focal Smart Pass offers secure and convenient payment options right at your fingertips. Download Focal Smart Pass now and fuel up faster today.
Another Abaco family left grieving following the second traffic fatality there in less than a week. The victim in this case, a 22-year-old who police say was driving east on Forest Drive, Murphytown after 7 Tuesday evening when he lost control of his black 2013 Honda Civic and collided into a utility pole. Due to the vehicle's extensive damage, the victim had to be extricated using the jaws of life. Unfortunately, the young man died at the medical center Marsh Harbor. Just this past Saturday, a 37-year-old Murphytown man lost his life in similar circumstances. Investigations into both matters continue. Well, an illegal firearm and ammunition taken off the streets of Andros and a 24-year-old suspect arrested in connection with the crime. Officers acting on information headed to a business in the area of Queens Highway, San Andros, around 8:30 last evening. There they spotted a man acting suspiciously, which led to him being searched and the items found. Well, it's time now for a check on Family Island weather with Chief Meteorologist Basil Dean. Good evening, Basil.
Good evening, Makisha. We have some light rains outside of our studios. Temperature quite cool, better than we had over the last several days. We have a temperature of 79 degrees. Relative humidity on the rich side, and the winds are out of the east, blowing from a much cooler region. 12 miles per hour, barometric pressure, 1,016.0 millibars. That is 30.02 inches. And your temperatures around the Family Violence this evening, they are brought to you by Family Guardian Insurance Company. We're protecting you. 73 degrees in Freeport, Grand Bahama, and Grand Torquay in Abaco, Marshall, Abaco, a little warmer at 78. 81 degrees in the Berry Islands, Allenstown, Bimini, 72. 82 degrees in Harper Island, Rock, San Lutra, 80 degrees, Black Point, Exuma, and Kemp Space at Andros at 81. Fresh Creek, Central Andros, 80 degrees. 80s also in Otterstown, Cat Island, San Salvador, and Rum Key, Georgetown, Exuma, 82 degrees. 82s in Ragged Island, Clarencetown, Long Island, and Crooked Island. Betsy Bay, Maguana, 85. Acklands, 85. Matchetown, Inagua, 83 degrees. And the Turks and Caicos Islands reporting 85. Boating forecast tonight is brought to you by Builders Mall, home of FYP, the Tile King, and the Paint Center. In the northwestern islands tonight, northeasterly winds, and that's the head of a little troughing that is pushing through the northwest Bahamas. The speeds around 10 to 15 knots with wave heights at 2 to 4 feet. Low tide will occur at 9:12 tonight. And for the central and southeastern islands tonight, southeasterly winds 12 to 18 knots, wave heights 3 to 6 feet with caution flags in place. And then tomorrow, Thursday, in the northwest and central islands, the winds become east to southeast. They will increase in speeds 12 to 18 knots, wave heights bumping up 3 to 6 feet. So we'll post caution flags for the northwest and central Bahamas tomorrow. The low tide, however, will occur at 9:11 in the morning with a high tide at 3:46 in the afternoon. For the southeast Bahamas tomorrow, east to southeast winds 15 to 20 knots, choppy seas 4 to 7 feet. That also constitute a caution flag for the southeast Bahamas tomorrow. And then on Friday, the northwestern islands, those winds will once again reduce, blowing from the southeast at 10 to 15 knots, wave heights subsiding 2 to 4 feet. Now, the low tide on Friday, that will occur at 10:08 in the morning with a high tide at 4:45 in the afternoon. And in the southeast Bahamas on Friday, southeast winds, slight reduction there in speeds, 12 to 18 knots, wave heights 3 to 6 feet, but we will maintain the caution flag for the southeast Bahamas on Friday. That's going to do it for your boating forecast. It's time now for your international temperatures, and they are brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. And that's going to do it for your international temperatures, brought to you by Royal Star Assurance. Good, stay tuned. Your extended weather forecast is still ahead.
Lift up your head to the rising sun, Bahamaland. March on to glory, your bright banners waving high. See how the world marks the manner of your bearing? Pledge to excel through love and unity. Pressing onward, march together to a common, loftier goal. Steady sunward, though the weather eyed the wide and treacherous shoal. Lift up your head to the rising sun, Bahamaland, till the road you've trod lead unto your God. March on, Bahamaland.
What I'm talking about. Give me my things. Triple P, move out of my lucky seat, boy, because I'm trying to hit one of these jackpots so I can plan my retirement.
Retirement?
Yeah, you straight. This the island game, and Percy's pension plan is back. What you talking about? How NI be good? Ain't gonna be no pension for none of we. Now, listen, this Percy's pension plan, what I talking about, all you gotta do, put $20 on your account, and you enter in one of 13 different pension plans. What? Up to $1,000 a week for a year. What? And you can win more than one, you know. Oh, well, thank you, Island Game, because I know one of them pension is mine. Now get out of my chair. While you up, give me that $20 so I can put on my account. Thank you. You owe me this long enough.
The most trustworthy name is Percy's Island Game. So put 20 on your account and ride this easy train at Percy's Island Game.
From those who are up before the sun. From those who are not afraid to get their hands dirty. From those who earn it from the sweat of their brow. Through cuts and bruises, long hours in the scorching heat. We are dedicated to creating a cleaner Bahamas for all. From those who bleed these colors, just like you. Standing on the shoulders of those who came before us, there's no way we can fail. Although the road was not easy, we got through it together. From every shoreline to every park swing, and we are just getting started. 50 years down, forever to go. Happy Independence, Bahamas. From the Bahamas Public Parks and Public Beaches Authority.
Are you or a loved one under medical care? Do you need affordable medical supplies? Ports International is the largest home healthcare supplier. Medical supplies at the very best price. And you can even shop online. From hospital beds to wound care, wheelchairs to walkers, Ports is a one-stop shop for your medical supplies, and we accept insurance. We have online shopping and 2 locations to serve you, at the Airport Industrial Park and Shirley Street. We also ship to the Family Islands. Shop online and visit us on Facebook. Call Ports at 377-1771.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
Welcome to sports, everyone. I'm Amajal Knowles. The Babe Ruth Baseball Classic wrapped up on Monday night, but not without some controversy as the play on the field was overshadowed by an alleged altercation between a Bahamian coach and an official. Our Marcellus Hall has more on that story.
The Babe Ruth Baseball Championship over for now, but it seems everything did not end on good terms. One of the visiting umpires, Eden Canister of Curacao, has now come forward alleging that he was physically assaulted by Bahamas 16U manager Greg Burrows Jr. The incident took place during the semifinal game featuring the Bahamas and Puerto Rico, at which time Burrows Jr. approached Canister on a number of occasions to query an article of clothing worn by the opposing pitcher. After being informed that there was no infraction, Burrows continued to approach the official, who then ejected him from the contest in the 4th inning. It is at this time that Mr. Canister, in his statement to the Bahamas Baseball Association, said that Burrows Jr. began issuing threats of retaliation.
I'm watching you, your mother watching you. When you finish your game, I will be waiting for your side.
Canister going on to say that at the game's conclusion, Burrows Jr. then entered the umpire's locker room and physically attacked him before being taken from the locker room area.
He came all the way inside the locker room and jumped on me. Physically.
Jumped on you.
Jumped on me. Throw punches into my face. Because he surprised me. I wasn't with my head down. He surprised me. And I tried to defend myself. Then a colleague from Holland heard something. He came inside, and they tried to move him. And after that, he threw a bottle of water to me. He hit me in my hand. All those things happened.
With the incident now taking a life of its own and now into the international community as well, the Bahamas Baseball Association has been called upon to step in and address the situation. It should be noted that Burrows Jr. has refuted Canister's allegations of a physical attack, saying that he did indeed enter the locker room, but only through water. Reporting for ZNS Total Sports, I'm Marcellus Hall.
Still on baseball news, Sebastian Walcott was the crown jewel of the 2023 international signing class for the Texas Rangers, and the Bahamian continues to climb as he entered the MLB's top 100 prospect list. Since being called stateside to the Arizona Complex League, he's been showing off his power against rookie league pitching. He's knocked in his 5th home run of the season just last week. The Rangers transferred Walcott from the Dominican Summer League on June 17th to the ACL, where he enjoyed a week off before facing the pitching. But since his promotion to Arizona, he's been blistering the baseball with 5 home runs and 10 RBIs. The 17-year-old shortstop is the number 14 prospect in the Rangers organization and is projected as a 2028 call-up. The Rangers signed him to a $3.2 million bonus, the 6th largest in the 2023 class. Bahamian Mike Sands is now a 2-time president of the North American, Central American, and Caribbean Athletic Association, or NACAC. Sands, who made history 4 years ago, becoming the first Bahamian president of one of the 6 area associations of World Athletics, got a huge sign of approval at the NACAC Congress meeting in San Jose, Costa Rica over the weekend, being re-elected as the top official in the regional body. He's expected to serve for another 4 years and automatically take the Bahamas' spot on the World Athletics Council. The elections were held during the NACAC Under 18 and Under 23 championships. Now, the NACAC election of officers normally precede the elections of World Athletics, set for next month prior to the start of the 2023 World Athletics Championships. In swimming news, Lamar Taylor continuing an impressive swim season, the D2 national champion, breaking the national record in the men's 100-meter backstroke yesterday, swimming a time of 55.03. This as he swam the leadoff leg of the Bahamas' mixed 4x1 medley relay team at the World Aquatics Championships. Taylor rewriting his previous national record of 56.05 seconds. Over the weekend, Taylor was also in action in the 50-meter heats. Taylor, one of 4 Team Bahamas members competing at the World Aquatics Championships. They include fellow swimmers Elizabeth Thompson, Renishka Gibbs, and Devontae Carey. And Team Bahamas girls on the board as they won yesterday over Dominican Republic in Billie Jean King Cup action. Caitlin Pratt won 6-4, 6-1 in the number 1 spot. Daniel Saunders won 7-6, 6-2, and 7-6. In the doubles, Marina Bostwick and Caitlin Pratt won in straight sets, 7-5 and 6-2. The team expected to play their final match against Puerto Rico today. The winner of that matchup will join the Dominican Republic in the U12 finals. The girls' team is coached by Paula Whitfield. And that's been a look at your sports on this Wednesday. A check on weather when we return.
This is ZNS Total Sports.
Bahamians are rediscovering Grand Bahama through immersive staycation experiences at Lighthouse Point Grand Lucaya. Pamper yourself at our Senses Spa or savor exotic cocktails by the sea. Unwind and enjoy serenity, 18 holes of golf, fine dining, romance, business conventions and meetings, grand outdoor events. For Bahamas resident rates at Lighthouse Point, call 242-373-1333 or WhatsApp message 827-8195.
Serving you low prices? That's the specials at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets. Devon corned beef, 12 ounce, 2 for $5.38. So cheesy macaroni and cheese, 7 1/4 ounce, 99 cents. Sora's mayonnaise, 30 ounce, $5.99. Green peppers, $1.89 per pound. Whole chickens, $1.99 per pound. Donate your change to help feed the Humane Society animals at Super Value and Quality Supermarkets.
We are New Life Natural Company Limited, and we have actually been in the community for now 13 years, serving in the health field. Our diets is probably one of the most poorest diets actually in the Caribbean, and we are really low in the world. As a result of our diet, we are actually inheriting all of these different diseases. So we need to kind of like shift the way how we eat and shift it to eating more healthier food. So we at New Life here, we are trying to change the paradigms. We are actually introducing tasty, healthy options. And so hopefully this SPDC initiative will actually create the awareness, help us to have an understanding of what we are doing, why we are doing it, and help us to begin to shift this paradigm of proper eating, proper dieting, and proper fitness. So our motto is eat well, be well, and let your food be your medicine.
For more information about the Fitness and Wellness Initiative, contact the SPDC at 461-7232.
Have you ever purchased a defective item and was denied an exchange or cash refund? Contact the Consumer Protection Commission at 393-7795-8 or our 24-hour complaints hotline at 357-7898 and let us help your voice be heard.
Hey, get up, stand up. Stand up for your right.
Agape Church cordially invites you to attend an evening of elegance at the retirement banquet for Bishop Helen McPhee, senior pastor of Agape Church. The event will be held at the Atlantis Grand Ballroom on Friday, August 25th. Cocktail reception at 7 p.m. Dinner is served at 8 p.m. Tickets are $275 and can be purchased at the Agape Church office. For more information, call 328-6937.
Time now for weather.
In our final look at weather in the tropics, we have a tropical wave just to the southwest of the Cape Verde Islands. The hurricane center is giving it about 30% in the long term of any kind of development, so we'll keep our eyes on that system and keep you posted. But closer to home, we have a tropical wave out near Hispaniola that is moving towards the west and will eventually drag some precipitation and the wet stuff into the southeast Bahamas over the next day or two. And then in the northwest Bahamas, we have a low-level trophy, which has been firing up showers and thunderstorms since last evening. Those showers and thunderstorms will continue off and on through tomorrow, and we will see some clearing as we head into Friday. Tonight, we're going in for partly cloudy, very warm, with widely separated thunderstorms developing later on again tonight, with your low temperature around 79 degrees. And tomorrow, periods of clouds and sunshine once again with showers and thunderstorms. Some of those thunderstorms will be heavy at times, resulting in localized ponding in the low-lying areas. High temperature tomorrow, 89 degrees, so we're keeping you just slightly below that 90-degree mark. And your extended weather forecast, those 90s will return as of Friday once we get that trophy out of the area, and those 90s will be with us right into Monday, but we'll have some cloud cover moving on Monday. Very little precipitation associated with that system. Skies will open up again as we head into Tuesday of next week. Makishla.
Well, thanks, Basil, and that does it for the Bahamas tonight. Thank you for continuing to make ZNS your first choice for news and information. Only the sun covers the Bahamas better than ZNS. From all of us here at ZNS, thank you for watching and good night.
You're watching the ZNS Network, the People's Station.